Hi everybody. So this is my redo of the chocolate bar fractions lesson because yesterday for some reason it taped really fast. Okay, so this is how the lesson goes. We're going to look at a Hershey's chocolate bar in a lot of different fractional pieces and talk about what you can learn about fractions, particularly something called a unit fraction. And a unit fraction comes from the word uni, which if you remember from the beginning of the year means one, uni. So unit fractions each have a numerator or a top number of 1. And so it's really cool to study these and to figure out how it works. And it's kind of counterintuitive, but it's really fun. Okay, so unit fractions with Hershey bars. So the first thing is that you need to make a decision. You need to write it down, claim it, say it out loud to somebody. You can't change it later, okay? So the question is, if you were so lucky as to be able to have a portion of a Hershey bar, say you were at a bonfire and somebody was making s'mores with you, and they said, what portion or what fraction of the candy bar do you want? And you get to pick from one of these 6 fractions. And you're gonna pick it and you have to keep it, all right? So the first one would be, would you like to have 1/2 of the candy bar? Or would you prefer to get 1/3 of the candy bar? Perhaps you would prefer to get 1/4 of the candy bar. Maybe you'd like to have 1/6 of the candy bar. Do you think you might want to have 1/12 of the candy bar? And finally, a choice would be 1/24 of the candy bar. So now's the time. Make your choice. Make your decision. You ready? Okay. So I have the candy bar broken into parts. Fortunately, I was able to go in the pantry and find the baggie with all the bits in it, and it wasn't too hard to put it back together. The lesson, there were some parts that weren't there, but I think we're going to be fine. So here is the collection of candy bar parts. Candy bar is broken into fractions. And I think that you would agree that this is one whole. This is one whole candy bar. So you're not going to be allowed to have the whole thing, but a portion or a fraction of it. So if you chose 1/2, then this is the portion of the candy bar that you would be getting. That's a sizable chunk. In fact, it fits perfectly on a graham cracker for a s'more. So if you picked 1/2, you would be getting that much of the whole. That's a lot. Maybe you picked 1/3. If you picked 1/3, then of course I would break the candy bar into 3 equal pieces. And the 3 equal pieces would look like this. It's kind of hard to tell if that's more or less than 1/2, isn't it? So let's place it over here on top of the 1/2. So if you got 1/3 of a candy bar, then you did not get as much as 1/2 because maybe you can see that the whole 1/2 is not covered. This is covered and this is not. So it turns out that 1/2 is more of a candy bar than 1/3. Put the 1/3 back over here. This is what 1/3 of a candy bar looks like. Here's the whole, and this is 1/3. Smells good. What if you chose 1/4? Did you? Did anybody choose 1/4? Yeah? Well, this is what your candy bar piece would look like right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I took this candy bar and broke it into 4 equal pieces, and one of those pieces is called 1/4. And it would fit over the top like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. How does that compare with the 1/2? I think you can see that 1/4 is way less than 1/2. In fact, it's 1/2 of a 1/2. And if we cover it's a little tricky to cover the, I have to, hang on. If I break the 1/3 up into bits, you can see that 1/3 is more than 1/4 because it's covered and then I have this bit left. So 1/3 is more than 1/4. 1/2 is more than 1/4. Guys, are you a little confused about this? Because maybe you picked 1/4 because 4 is a bigger number than 2, or 4 is a bigger number than 3. What's going on here? Why isn't 1/4 more? Why is it so much less? Right, because 1/4 means that I took this candy bar and broke it into 4 pieces and gave you 1. But 1/3 means that I took the candy bar and broke it into 3 pieces. And 1/2 means I only broke it into 2 pieces and you got 1 of them. So it looks like the bigger the number on the denominator, the smaller the piece of chocolate gets. So what happened to the kids who picked 1/6? Well, if you picked 1/6, then here's the candy bar broken into 6 equal parts. And this would be 1/6. And I think you're beginning to see that that's a pretty tiny piece of chocolate for a s'more. 1/6 is a really small part of the whole. Look at it. Here's the whole chocolate bar, and this is 1/6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's really small. So even though the number 6 is big, the pieces are getting small because I'm taking this whole and cutting it into more pieces, and every time I do that, the pieces have to be smaller. Oh well, the poor kids who picked 1/12. That's what it looks like. This is the candy bar broken into 12 pieces. Can you see it okay? Let me tip it up. 12 pieces. Look at how tiny they are. This is 1/12. 1/12 of the candy bar. 1 piece out of 12. What's bigger, 1/2 or 1/12? Yeah, I way rather have a half than a 1/12 of a candy bar. Even though the number 12 is really big, getting 1 out of 12 is a very small portion because I had to cut the candy bar into 12 equal pieces. And I do have 24ths. It's not much candy. To make 24ths, I would take each one of these 12ths and cut them in half. And this is the size that a piece would be. It would take 24 of these pieces. Can you see it? See if I can hold it better. This will work. It would take 24 of those pieces to make this whole candy bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the way, it would take 24. 1/24 is a very, very tiny piece of candy bar. I brought a knife because it is possible to cut this into 48 equal pieces. And one of those pieces would be called 1/48. 48 is a giant number. You might think, I'm going to pick 48 and get a lot of chocolate. But now you're beginning to get crumbs. That's 1 out of 48. That's a crumb of chocolate. So, what's the big idea? The big idea is this. If you keep the same size candy bar every time, and you make more pieces, the pieces get smaller. So even though the number 12 is quite large, 1/12 is very tiny. Even though the number 24 is quite large, 1 out of 24 is a little bitty bit. So you're going to be able to compare fractions by thinking about this. Would it be larger to have 1/4, or would it be larger to have 1/2? 1/2 is more than 1/4. 1/6. Is it more or is it less than 1/4? 1/6 is less than 1/4. You'll be able to practice this on your IXL today. I'm really glad I could recreate this. I hope it worked out right. Oh boy. Well, teaching from home, it has its challenges. I get to smell the chocolate. I can't share it with you and you can't smell it. Sorry about that. Okay, thanks for trying with me the second time. Bye-bye.